Hello and welcome to my very first lovely yarns designs tutorial. I hope you're gonna enjoy this. I'm sorry for my accent, so I'm obviously not native English, but I hope that will be fine. So this is a beginner's guide for crochet. We have here some different yarns, of just two different kinds of yarns. We have the different kind of crochet hooks, and what you're gonna need is just a normal scissor. You don't need a fancy one. I mean, as long as it's sharp, that's all fine. And just a darning needle to sew in the yarns at the end. This is a paint box simply DK yarn. DK stands for double knit. That just tells you how thick the yarn is. This is an acrylic yarn, which is 100 gram. This is not that expensive because it's obviously no wool or cotton or whatever. So they have quite a lot of different colors. That's pretty nice. On the back, the yarn shows you what kind of hook or knitting needles you're gonna need. I always work with the millimeter. I have the American terms for the stitches, but I just can't figure out the American sizes. Or the UK, I just work with millimeters. That's just what's in my head. So for this kind of yarn, you would usually work with a 4mm hook. Obviously, sometimes it depends on how your gauge has to be, and then you're just going to change the hook a tiny bit to what you need at the end. I really love to work with cotton yarns. We have here the Paint Box Cotton Aran yarn. I have here also, this is one I already started with, the Paint Box Cotton DK, or I have here the Drops Paris, which is also an Aran size yarn, where this would be like size 4 yarn, this one would be a size 3. Then you could have even thinner ones, you can have thicker ones like chunky or whatever, but this is kind of what I work with all the time, either DK or Aran. I just love, honestly, this kind of yarn. So we're just going to go into it now. Like I said, you're going to use the yarn you want to work with. You're going to need your hooks. You can have, there are even more kinds of hooks. You can have thicker ones or thinner ones. This is quite a simple one. This is even plastic. It always shows you that the size in millimeter of it. So this would be a 3.5 and this would be a 4mm. Honestly, I don't really like the small ones. I just feel like there's nothing in my hand. So this is just, no, I love them. They're just thick enough. They're just perfect for my fingers. I really work with them all the time. But this at the end is whatever is best for you. So I'm gonna show you now how you start to crochet. I'm gonna use this yarn here. This is just a normal simple DK yarn, similar to this one here. So you would work with a 4mm yarn. Obviously, to begin, you're gonna need a knot, which is called the slip knot. There are some different kinds of techniques how to make the slip knot. I just use this, for me it's the simplest one. I just make a little loop here. So I take the end, I lie it down, and I just have this loop here, and then I take it up, fold it over and take it down. Obviously this is not how I do it. This is just the easiest way to show it. I'll just take it kind of like, and here we have it. Important is just that the loop goes bigger and smaller from the yarn which is on your ball and not the other side. So just to show it once more, you can also have it up here. You have this little X, take it over, fold it and take your loop. And then we're gonna start. So to start, you're gonna need your chain. For this, you just put the. I'm sorry, I have a little bit of German words in my head. That's why I have to think once or twice. So you're gonna put your hook in here, put the loop in there, and then you're gonna start with a chain. So you just get the yarn here and pull it through, and then you have your first stitch here. Then you go again. You have to make sure that you kind of keep it tight here, but not tight enough. This is kind of, it's a feeling you kind of get over time, I think. So you just start getting your chain worked here. That will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So just pull it here to have it tighter, and you go through. This can happen once in a while, especially if you're in front of the camera or behind the camera. It's not that easy to look through the camera and crochet here. It kind of plays your mind. To count the stitches, this is not a stitch, this is just a loop you have here. This would be the first stitch here. I'm gonna use this to show you. So this is the first stitch. Come closer here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This at the very end is your beginning knot. This is also not counted as a stitch. So this will be your chain. And now you can either work in rows up here, or you can close this to round. But I'm gonna show this another day. But I might just keep that to show you the slip stitch later. So I'm just gonna work a few more. There we go. We just set this aside, and I have something prepared here to show you the single crochet, which is the smallest. Here we go. I've started here a little row with, let's say 2 rows. I worked 20 chain stitches and then started with the single crochet. What is important is when you start, if you want, let's say 20 stitches, you're gonna have your 20 chain stitches here, and then you want to start with the single crochet. You're gonna need another one just for the height. So this chain here is just for the height. So for the single crochet you would start at the second one here. This one is to bring you up there, and then you start with the single crochet in the second one. For DC, a double crochet, in the US terms, you would need 3 here. So you're gonna have 3 more in your chain to start there with your stitch. There was HDC. So starting with the single crochet, so you start your chain on 1 more than how many stitches you want, and then you're gonna start with your rows. I've already started this just to show it better than how it looks, because it's a bit of a fiddling around if you have the row and in front of the camera. So for the single crochet, which is most of the time on the pattern just written as SC for single crochet, you're gonna need to start, like I said, with 1 chain to have the height. And then the first chain here, that never counts as a first stitch for the single crochet. So you're gonna start in the first stitch here. This is the first stitch you see here. So the single crochet, you put your hook in the first stitch, you go and grab the yarn, the thread, and you pull it through, and then you have 2 loops on your hook. You're gonna go and get the yarn once more and pull it to the 2. So this is your single crochet. You have 1 stitch here, and then again you go in the next stitch, get your hook through, get 1 thread, and go and get it again and pull it to the 2 loops. So single crochet, you go into the stitch, you grab the yarn, pull it through the stitch, you have 2 loops, you go and get the yarn again and pull it through the 2. So this is how you work until the end. So like I said, I started here a row with 20 stitches, so I'm going to work 20 stitches. 1 second. This is kind of a funny yarn. It suddenly has a bit of darker spots in it. Kind of like it. Two left, 1 left, and the last one goes on top of the first stitch from the previous row. So we worked 1 row of single crochet. Then you're gonna turn it around and you start again with 1 chain to get up the height. You go into the first stitch, you pull the yarn through, you get the new one. There we go, the next single crochet. And so you work on until you've reached whatever height you're gonna need. Then I'm just gonna show you in this video as well the slip stitch. The slip stitch is mostly used, like I said, maybe to close something to round when you want to work around or whatever. So I'm gonna open this again. Okay, so the slip stitch is even less than what the single crochet was. You're just gonna go in the first or whatever stitch you wanted. You go and pull the yarn through, and you're not getting it and going and get it again. You just pull it through here. That's it. That's how you do a slip stitch. I'm gonna open it again just to show it a bit closer maybe. So this is your chain you have. You go in the first stitch, you get the yarn, pull it through, and then you just pull it through straight to your stitch you had. You're not gonna get it again. And like this, you would have a little circle where you could just work in circles, or this is just for most techniques. I just wanted to show the stitch. If you want to work it in a row, seen in a row, here we go. You wouldn't have it in a row like this. I just want you to show how it would look like. Sometimes you're gonna need it to get from one spot to another spot to work, especially in C to C crochet from corner to corner. This is where you would need it. This is a really small, so you just go in the stitch, you get the yarn and pull it through. That's all, and then you have your slip stitch. Okay, so this is the very basic. In the next video, I'm gonna show you the DC, the double knit, the treble crochet, and the double treble crochet. Like I said, this is all US terms. In the UK, it would be called a different name. I just don't have it in my head right now. Okay, I hope you liked it. Just subscribe to my channel. Send me a comment if you have any questions. Follow me on Instagram or check out my page. So I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.